Senator Edwards. Senator Muir, on the same topic.
It is on the same topic, and thank you, Mr Acting Deputy President. I'm pleased to be standing here to speak on the tabling of this report, and as many of my colleagues before me have said, it is an important report. Just to speak on the topic of my colleagues again, they've said a lot which could have already been said, so they've done a very good job in summing up the outcome of this report. The Australian Motoring Enthusiast Party was formed to represent the view of the motoring enthusiast culture. And this culture is a vast culture with many different aspects and is deeply entrenched in the Australian history. It doesn't matter what sex, race, religion, or what your social background is, there's always somebody in just about any crowd who can relate to being an enthusiast in some way or another. Further to that, there are whole industries which are supported in the automotive sector by motoring enthusiasts, and of course the whole sector itself could well be in trouble at the moment, or at least that's the perception that everybody has. As vehicle manufacturing scales down in Australia, we need to prepare ourselves to find ways to soak up the job losses, which have been predicted to be up to 200,000, as Senator Xenophon said before me, within the automotive sector, and naturally the flow-on industries that will become, or could well become, redundant. What better option than to create more jobs in the auto sector or similar industries to utilise the skill set which many people already have that are currently working in the industry. They're already thoroughly trained and have great experience and relevant qualifications, so it makes sense to try to utilise the skills which are already current in the automotive sector to have jobs of a similar nature. There is a lot of talk about the auto industry being dead, but that's far from the truth. Automotive manufacturing makes up 20% of jobs in the auto sector. The other 80% is still here, and there's a lot of room for improvement. One of the recommendations that the Australian Motoring Enthusiast Party has suggested in our additional notes to this report is that we recommend a PR campaign being undertaken for automotive vocational training to encourage careers in the automotive sector. It's not a very attractive career path if your political leaders are running around preaching that the industry is dead. It's not dead. The other 80% is still here and it can still grow. I'm delighted that the interim report tabled some time back had a strong focus on the automotive transformation scheme, and that's been spoken about by my colleagues before me. I do believe there's a need to change our eligibility criteria so that the scope of the scheme will not die a natural death in 2017 when automotive manufacturing ceases. Having a legislated scheme with dedicated funds only eligible to manufacturers of components for locally built new vehicles makes no sense once manufacturing ceases. It also makes no sense to take the legislated funds from that scheme instead of using it to assist the other 80% of the industry and to help it grow. If it can't grow within the automotive industry, it can diversify, like some of the witnesses who appeared before the inquiry stated, whether it be into renewable technology. There's several people who are looking into different areas to utilise the skills they have. The Australian Motoring Enthusiast Party generally does agree with the inquiry, with the report, and is very happy with many aspects of it. And I really do congratulate the committee staff and everybody who's been involved with this report, because it really is crucial and important. The Australian Motoring Enthusiast Party has put additional notes in areas where we think there could have been a little bit of improvement, and the evidence was very present at the inquiries. I have to agree with Senator Xenophon when he said that the Automotive Diversification Fund is heavily oversubscribed. It's not only oversubscribed, but it's underfunded. So that is an issue, and that's why I think the changing the criteria of the automotive transformation scheme is so important. There's about a $500 million underspend there, which could be utilised to help other areas, whether it be the aftermarket industries or tier 2 or 3 parts manufacturers, actually diversify into different areas. In saying that, recommendation 7 of the report recommend that the government support the establishment of an automotive industry task force with representatives from industry, unions and governments. I completely agree with this. This is actually a brilliant idea. What better way to help the industry move forward than have the industry involved? So I really do strongly support that recommendation. I asked a question time today in relation to service data. So independent repairers have that right of a choice of repairer. And there was a bit of talk afterwards about competition. I think that's very, very important that the report's focused on, in my additional notes, I've noted that the review of the agreement needs to be immediate. It needs to happen now. I'll probably thank quite a few of the people who, well, everybody who actually put in a submission into the inquiry. I'll probably pinpoint a couple: the Confederation of Australian Motorsport, Tomcar Australia, Appledine Australia. Both of them actually manufacture vehicles here in Australia, so there is scope. That's living proof. Well, Appledine is trying to manufacture vehicles here in Australia. I should actually correct that. But it's proof that there is scope for manufacturing to continue here in Australia. I'd like to thank the Federation of Australian Product Manufacturers, the Motor Trades Association of Australia, the Motoring Advisory Council and Auto Services Group. Auto Services Group actually focus on imports, and that seems to be a dirty word around this place. But we're about to lose manufacturing, and I just mentioned competition in relation to service data. Well, I think it's something that could well apply a little bit of pressure on the manufacturers who are no longer Australian manufacturers after 2017. I think there's been a lot of scare campaigns in relation to proper policy around importation of vehicles, whether it be under the Special Enthusiast Vehicle Scheme or just parallel imports altogether. I won't go into great detail about it, but again, that's in my additional notes. And I really do encourage the government to consider this, and I would love to continue conversations. I could speak a lot about the rest of the submissions, but I won't go into it. I'll just probably like to go a little bit further to thank the party, thank the Australian Motor Enthusiast Party for their support in the background, and thank them for encouraging people to put submissions into inquiry, because it's very important that that actually happens. I've already thanked the committee staff, but I'll do that again because I'm really bad at actually getting back to emails on time, so they did a really good job dealing with myself. And commend all the work done from everybody else in the background. This is an important report. I hope the government takes it serious and look forward to seeing some results.